Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. We are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, we've come down to this area here, 1452, to find support. And I always say, where are the trouble places, right? So back to the upside, we will have trouble around the 1456, which is really not far. So breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble at 1460. If we break the 1460 area, 1463, again, not far, right? So breaking those levels of resistance, we could very well have trouble here at 1470, beyond the 1470, 1478. And if we break the 1478, we could come back to the 1490 or the 1479 area, which is not far from that 1490. So I would definitely watch those areas back to the upside. Now, if by chance we break this 1490 area, just know 1502, and again here at 1513 could be trouble places for the VIX. Breaking that level, we could come all the way back to the ATR trail and stop here at the 1521. So if we should break, continue up, normally when the VIX is up, the SPY is down. I need to throw that in there, right? So back to the downside, under this level of 1453, we could possibly find support at 1449, again at 1445, 1442, which is really close, right? And again here at 1437. So I would watch those places for support for the VIX. And again, I look at the VIX kind of because it gives me an idea of what's going on with the SPY really quick. So we are now looking at the SPY. SPY closed at 597.53, y'all. We have hit a pre-market high thus far. High of this candle is 599.33, right? We knew that we could have trouble in this place. I'm gonna see if I can make that a little bit bigger here. We knew that we could have trouble in this place, right? So as of now, where are the trouble places for the SPY? Looks like that 5 EMA on this 30-minute chart is holding us up here at 598.71. So trouble to the upside, we would need to get back above 598.98, 599.29, 599.60. We could very well have trouble in that area, 599.60. Above that, $600.13, 613. And if we break that level, 698 could very well be a trouble place for the SPY today. Now back to the downside, if by chance we break under this 5 EMA at the 598.72 area, we can come back and find support at 598.29. Under that, we can find support at 598.04, 597.72, and breaking that level, 597.60. Now, what will be interesting is breaking that 597.60, coming back to this level of 597.10. Now, if we break that 597.10, the ATR trailing stop is here at 596.71. That could be a support place, and under that 596.45, and again at 595.97. Now that's a lot of support in my opinion for the SPY. Let me say that. Now if by chance we break under this 595.16, you see I have that as a very noticeable line for me because that's a key level of support for me. And if we should lose that level, which is really close to the 200 EMA under the 595.01, I'm going to set an alert here under that 595 area. If we should break back to the downside at that level, SPY has broken through some layers of support, so it's definitely worth watching. I would say trade carefully today because we do have Fed FOMC minutes today, but again, y'all, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. So those are places to the upside and to the downside that I would watch the SPY. Again, support and resistance, right? So we are now looking at Tesla. Tesla closed at 338.59, coming off of a nice high on yesterday from that 362 down to that 335. Very interesting, right? Only to trade sideways. And what was interesting about that level of 336.68 served as a level of support for us here once, we came down off of that. We are above that now. However, If we break this level again, we could very well continue to the downside. So I always say, where are the trouble places? As of right now, our support is around 338.44, resistance around 340.85. So back to the upside, we could possibly have trouble at 341.60, 342.15, 342.16, and if we should break that, we could very well have trouble around 344.29, and breaking that level of 344.29 here, we could have trouble at 345.40. That is the ATR trailing stop. Now back to the downside, if by chance we break under this 338.41 again, I will watch the 337.35, 336.68, and if we lose that area, I would watch the 335.13. And I'm just going back looking at previous support places for Tesla. Now again, I would definitely watch this area under 334.30, because if we lose that area, we could very well find support. I would say here at 332.43, and under that 331.60. I'm going to go back to zoom back out. Under this level of 331.60, we could very well come back to this level of 328.35. So those are going to be trouble places for Tesla to the downside and to the upside. So I would definitely say watch Tesla today, right? It's interesting to see that, again, we came off of a nice high for Tesla. Not surprising, just interesting, right? So let's look at AMD today just to see where we are. And it seems as if AMD closed at 141.13. We've made a pre-market high of 142.68, and immediately my eye goes to this gathering spot here. So where are the trouble places for AMD? It will need to make a new high above this 142.68, only to know that we could have trouble at 143.03, which is not far, right? Above the 143.03, we could have trouble at 143.68, and if we break the 143.68, 144.61 could very well be a trouble place, and breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble at 145.51. So those are resistance areas for AMD as of right now. Now back to the downside, breaking under 142.23, we could very well find support at 141.81. Losing that level brings us back to this gathering spot here, when we could very well find support at 141.03. Under that 141.03, 140.52, and under that 139.97. If we lose the 139.97, 139.54, and as you can see, y'all, it's just a zone that that it had been trading in previously, and we just mark those levels as support. So I wanted to show how we come up with that. We use the moving averages as a guide also, but if you don't use the moving averages, you can very much level that or chart that yourself, and that's just learning how to read the charts and understanding where your support and resistance is. So again, we're looking at AMD, and those are places to the upside and to the downside that I will watch for today. Again, y'all, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Let's look at NVDA today just to see where we are. We closed at 136.02, again, coming off of a nice high from yesterday, right? So looks as if we're trading back in this zone. I might try to zoom out so we can see that here to here. So where are the trouble places as of right now for NVIDIA? Back to the upside. Let's say it needs to break back above 137.57, 137.97. We could very well have trouble in that area. Let me make that a little bit, yes. Above the 137.97, we could possibly have trouble at 138.45. If we break through that 138.45, we can have trouble again at 139.12. Breaking that 139.12, we can have trouble at 139.70, 140.08. And if we break that 140.08, 140.42, we have a lot of resistance ahead for NVIDIA. So not saying that we can't get back to that place. Let me say that. So those are areas to the upside I will definitely watch if I traded NVIDIA today. Now back to the downside, under this level here of 137.14, we could possibly have support around 136.67. 136.42 was kind of like a zone that it was trading in previously. Under that 136.42, we can come back to 135.67, 134.91, 133.70, and 132.92. So I'm going to zoom back out so we can see. That's just the previous zone. Look where the candle, this is where we came back to. It's a zone for us. This one is the exact same way. This is another zone for us the exact same way. So it's just remembering, or however you choose to chart, whatever you use, let's say that. So it's basically just remembering where our trouble places are, and we're just marking that level as a support place or a resistance area. That's what trading is all about, identifying those trouble places, right? So again, we're looking at NVDA. I do believe we have some inside day candles for today. Let's see, CCL is an inside day candle above 25.45, gives us an upside target of 25.60. Under 25.05 gives us a downside target of 24.84. So CCL is an inside day candle if you trade that today. HUT is also an inside day candle above 26.42, gives us 26.45. Not a big mover, right? So under 23.18 gives us a downside target of 22.61. So if you trade HUT today, it is an inside day candle. J&J, Johnson & Johnson, is also an inside day candle for today above 157.04, gives us 157.17. Under 155.15 gives us a downside target of 154.08, and we're not far from that now. So if you trade J&J, it too is an inside day candle. Macy's, M, is an inside day candle above 16.12, gives us an upside target of 16.36. Below 15.46 gives us a downside target of 15.30. So if you trade Macy's today, it is an inside day candle. And we have one more. MRK is also an inside day candle above the 101.75, gave us a target of 101.84, which we have almost tried to reach that. Not quite, but it can still keep moving, right? So to the downside, by chance we break under 99.49, we have a downside target of 98.97. So we do have a few inside day candles today. It's interesting to see that we are where we are. Netflix, let's see where we are with Netflix. Netflix closed at 865.59. What's interesting is this high here of 903.68, only to come back down to this gathering spot here, that 872.24 as resistance, support around 867.91. Right now, that support is our resistance. So if we break the 867.91, we could possibly have trouble at 872.24, which, as you can see, our ATR trailing stop is forming here. So yeah, I would definitely watch those levels for Netflix. If we break this 872.33, we could possibly have trouble here, I would say around 874.58, and if we break that level, I would watch the 877.83, and if we break that 877.83, we can come back to this level here of 887.29, and it's really where the body of this candle is and the high of this candle is. So I would definitely, I do look at the wick, but look at where the body is here and here. So that's something to, price was there for a reason, let me say that. So yeah, y'all, I hope that everyone have a very profitable day today, a very productive day. Always, always know where your support is and your resistance is. That is the key to trading, and ultimately having the discipline to execute your plan. Trade what you see. I say that often, but once it goes against your why, get out. Set your stop losses or mental losses or whatever it is that you choose to use. Just have the discipline to execute that, y'all. So again, I hope that everyone have an awesome day today. If you could, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, because you know what, we learn and we grow together, y'all. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.